So this video is about the beginning step of doing your self-portrait sculpture. Hopefully everybody already got your armature ready. And so these are the things that you will need. Firstly, your complete armature. And then if you have a lazy Susan, that would be great. So because when you're sculpting, instead of moving the face, you can actually moving the lazy Susan. And also your reference photo. And it's really important that you have all the reference photo for your all directions and all angle. Some of them I even enlarge it just a little bit. And if you notice that actually I drew some lines. These from the lecture I can tell you right now is basic. I drew the line from the edge of my nose to the edge of my eye, teardrop eyes right there, and to see the relationship of my eyes, and versus the bottom of the nose right in here, and also the bottom of the my chin. And also I run through a couple lines like the edge of the nose right here, then I run across the eye and to see the angle and relationship. So these reference photo are really important for you. All angle right in here. So these are reference photo. Hopefully you already have some. And once I do this, draw them out because prevent them to get dirty, I will put it in the sleeve. So I won't get dirty, and I can actually put it in the binders, and I can kind of flip them through and then see it. So first you will need the reference photo. And some of the tool you will need, okay? First of all, these tools, probably some of them are from your beginning tool sets. And there's variations of the tool sets right in there. It really depends on how you're liking. But I personally think, you probably need this kind of soft metal. And this one, if you don't have it, the credit card will also work too, which means your gift card will work too. And because they will allow you, this is a clay from there, they will allow you to smooth out your clay, okay? And then a couple of these clay, so hopefully everybody already have the clay. We're going to talk about the clay later, okay? So these are the tools that actually can help you to allow you sculpting, okay? And if you look at this one, I actually have a kind of personal favorite is some of them actually has a slightly curve on the edges. So if you look at right in here, it just says if I'm going to sculpt the eyes, and I will just kind of indented my eyes, my tool like that, okay? And I go the other side. And so this will be, this one right here, I will use it for, this tool right here, I will use it for the eye, So again, a little curve right here. So that's kind of like my favorite. And so, just try to look for something that you can actually curve them in so you can get that texture. And also you can do some of a carving, like you can actually take away a little bit of a clay right here, so that way I'm making a little bit of eyes right in there, right? And so things like this is called a loop tool, okay? So again, there's a variant of it, and I mean mine not necessarily the best, but find the one that you like most. You notice this one right here is actually homemade brushes from those dry plant. And so what this wood does is it'll give you some texture. Can you see it? So almost like right in here you can see almost like your skin, the pore. So you can actually use this and then use to create your surface. Okay, and then the wire tool for sure. And what else I would need is probably a spray bottle and the plastic bag. Okay, now for the clay right here, your clay is an air dry clay. Means if you let them expose in the air, they do dry them out, and they will get really hard. So if you look at right here, this is the one that I use for air dry clay. And then they kind of dried out already. You can see right here on the bottom is totally dry. On the top is not quite still moist, but because I didn't cover it well, so the bottom already dried out. So this is actually some of the example that will kind of exercise a little bit. So you can see the bottom right here is a little whiter than the top because they dry out. If you spray them, I don't know, they will go back to the wetness. But so you want to make sure you, if you're not done, you want to make sure you cut them off. So when you cover it, I always overlap with a lot of plastic bag. These are some like a very soft plastic bag, so they won't get you into your, will cut into your surface. So I usually kind of wrap around like this, and maybe just wrap the whole thing one more time. And this is how I will take care of it, my sculpture, if I'm not done. Again, remember, once they let them laying out, drying out, it will dry it out on the surface. So therefore, you probably need to make sure that your clay is covered really well and your sculpture is covered really well until everything is done, and then you can let them air dry. We have to kind of explore a little bit what happens if the clay's already dried out. Can you add more wet clay on the surface? Probably. Okay. And so here's is dry cleaning plastic bag too. And another thing that I thought maybe would be useful is using a paper towel. So that says if you're already done and then you taking a break and you're not going to do it for next week or next day, so you can actually take the this what is it called, the paper towel, and you put it over it and you spray it with some water. Okay, so these are the preparations before you start. So hopefully everybody get your stuff ready for your first projects. And so I will start right now. We're gonna start with the clay. So again, this is a clay right here. I want to make sure the clays, keep it closed if you're not using it. Make sure the clays are closed. Okay. So right now I'm cutting this clay. Basically, I'm just take a sheet of a clay. So I'm gonna put this on the side. Before I start, I'm going to put these on the side. I should have a, it's okay. Put this on the side so I know where to find them. I'm going to take out my, first of all, my wire and my clay. Okay, I'm going to bring it a little closer to me right here so you can see it. So I will cut a sheet of clay. Now let's look at a little bit of your armature right in here. Okay, so basically the armature I ask you to do about 12 inches. So you're making about 8 inches, 9 inches tall wire, and you're gonna add about 1 inch of a clay on top. Okay, and then solid and like in here. So what we will do is we will cut a clay sheets right here, so you can see it right here, a sheet of clay. You hold down to the end and you just pull towards you. Okay, so you have a sheet of clay like this. You can actually break them in half right here. Okay, like that. We're gonna start building up from the bottoms up. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna do a little bit right here. So you just take your time in adding it. And hopefully we'll do this together when we meet again, so we can see it, how we're gonna do it. So the angle is right here, so because this is gonna be a front. If you look at that here, this is gonna be the neck area. It's gonna be somewhat right here. Okay, right here, this area. So I'm building it up. So if you can see it, this is a profile. I try to do it right in here. Okay, so again. And make sure that your clay don't dry it out, okay? Don't let your clay dry out. A great thing about this is that if there's air pocket, it's okay. Because for the regular clay, if you want to use them as if you want to fire your clay, you're gonna having a hard time to if you have air pocket. But this one, you know, you get a whole bunch of air pocket. It's no problem. Okay. So again, I'm going to try to add them up, just a little bit of a shoulder on the bottom. I'm going to build it up. So I'm going to add this side too, because I want to create a little bit of a shoulder right in here. So I'm going to take this one right here. And then you know, this project is called additions. Means you add on, okay? Means you add it on here. So if you don't like it, always can cut it, right? But if you don't add it on there, you don't know how they look like. So I suggest first thing is just start adding things, and you can always take away. Okay, So right now I'm gonna try to add right in here, and then I'm gonna try to cover the back right here. Okay. So again, when I cut it, I cut a little sheets and really kind of cover them up like that. I never used a paper clay. This is actually the first time I'm using a paper clay. Feels pretty good. I'm not paper clay, air dry clay. My apology. Okay, so here's almost like a back right in here, and the front right here. So what I'm gonna do right here is this is gonna be a skull. So I'm gonna continue to build just a little bit right here, and maybe have a little sheet of a clay on top. Okay, I'll cut a little bit too heavy. Okay, right in here. So here I will do it. If you look at right in here, I'm gonna actually add a little. So the armature inside the wire allow you to actually change the direction slightly. Okay, so that's a good thing about the armature. If you don't have an armature, it tends to be, you have to use, you see right now I can move it forward, I can move it backward. If you don't have an armature, probably gonna move around a little bit more than usual. So therefore I always suggest start with the armature, because this armature basically is your basic. This says if I'm gonna make a full-size head right now, I'm just keep talking and then keep working on it, okay? So that means next time if I want to sculpt a figure, right? It may be not life-size, maybe a 16 inches figure, and has a different pose, almost like that's to say, okay, Michelangelo's David's pose. So how do you do that? If you're just using an armature, will help you to change the directions of the hands, and that would be much, much easier. Okay, so now I'm adding this right in here. So again, you can see right here, this is gonna be the front face. I'm gonna add a little bit more. This is gonna back of a skull. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna add it back on here. So in here, I'm gonna add a little bit more. So just keep doing it until everything kind of settle a little bit, okay? So you can see it's getting a little heavy, but that's okay. Our armature still can stay. And this time, I'm gonna take a little bit of a clay right in here, maybe a sheet of a clay right here. I'm gonna add it on here, almost like a forehead. Okay? I'm still adding the clay. Okay, this is gonna be my forehead. So I'm building up the clay. I'm building up the clay. Okay. So I'm using the palm of my hand and kind of smooth it. Of course, if you have the tool right here, you can actually use it too as well. So you can see this curve is really severe, so I'm going to actually add a little bit more of the neck. Okay, so hopefully that you have your your reference photo. Reference photo is really important. Okay, because and also you need to have a mirror too as well, so you can see what's going on with you. Okay. So I'm going to just keep adding, and I think right here I'm going to add a little bit more skull right on the bottom right here. Okay, so right now I'm going to keep going. And then so I'm going to add a little bit on the back. You can see right here looks a little flat. And take this and add it back on here. So basically you want to have a little bit tiny of a skull on the back. So if this is your front face, this is going to be your back. Okay. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to turn off the video. I'm going to do the next one, and I'm going to fix it up a little bit more, and then by the time we'll come back again, I can show you a couple area that you should look for, the things that you should look for.